So, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. Today, though, however, we are speaking with Brendan J Sullivan, aka Pizzas, on TikTok, everywhere else. He's also the former DJ of Lady Gaga. Him in his own right is just quite amazing. What a lovely young fella. And just make sure you actually listen to the conversation, because we so get into like the nitty gritty of our industry, and it's just so nice having another chef on the channel, just talking and just getting to reminisce back in the old days. Again, for everybody else, Brendan. Oh, internet. Internet's a funny thing.
I love
You need to upgrade, bro.
I have never gotten better at Zoom this entire pandemic.
It is updated, I promise. I'm quite proficient in communications.
Hey, can I get a mic check from the two of you? I'm just headphones and right here. Can you tell the difference right here? You can hear me, right?
Yeah. Sounds
good. Am I clearer if I flip? Is this any clearer, any different?
I mean, that looks
not
good.
really.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all right. We're not too. Don't worry. This is not a professional setup, bro. We're not like. This isn't like, you know what I mean. I think.
No, we're professionals, Brandon.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yo, so let's jump right in. I'm super excited to have you, and I've been wanting to have. I've never even had a conversation with you, but of course I follow you and like I look at your content and like I'm a big fan. So the thing, and so like all the people watching and listening, can you just give us a little snapshot, 3-minute summary of your history and what brought you to here and how you started creating content?
Yes, I can. And can I use this as like a quick shout out to my forebearers, the people who trained me, loved me, gave me love in life? Definitely. After school job, high school, my parents work nights. I work in a pizza place. That happens. Within 5 years of that, I am working every day at a restaurant in Manhattan. I'm the first one in the door every day, 9:30 a.m. First person I see is I go to work every single day and night out, and I have a murderer's row of talent. The first person I communicate with during the day is a chef named Junior Marino, who is currently executive chef of M Cantina in Detroit, in Dearborn, Michigan. Absolutely gonna be the first Michelin star for Detroit. That's my guy. No one knows my name. I am called Junior at work because Junior Marino is the Yo-Yo Ma of flavor, and he is teaching me everything I know. So from then I go, and our chef is Miami's hottest guy, comes up, Chef Willis Lofhead. He comes up from Miami to take over the kitchen there. We are on our way to win the first Michelin star in the U.S. Then in the middle of service every day with the C's part, because in walks Charles Masson. And Charles Masson is he runs what was formerly his dad's restaurant. It's La Grenouille, it's French for the frog. It is easily the most legendary restaurant in New York City. He is new lease on life, remarried after his first wife passed away of cancer, mother of his children. Remarried to a coworker, and they run in every night. They seat the entire restaurant, and as soon as everyone is set, they run over and they get a quick little date night in together. And he is as classically trained as it comes. Amazing person. Love him to this day. And then in the kitchen, I've also got Tia Keenan, future Wall Street Journal cheese columnist, is picking the cheeses on the cheese board that we got there. And then I have Khalidra Levistra is the report to our pastry chef, and she is teaching me left and right. She is reporting to Chef Marc Almond, who's easily the greatest pastry chef, still living pastry chef who ever lived. And when I go out at night, I have to pick up my girlfriend at work, and she works at a restaurant called Stanton Social, which is run by Chris Santos. He's a chef there, and he's like Mr. Food Network now. He has that show Chopped. So every single day I've got this murderer's row of people I see, and I'm like 23 years old. I'm green as they come, and I get to talk to these people and ask them anything in the world, and they are so generous with their knowledge, and it's because of them that I am where I am today.
Wow, amazing. That's quite intense. That's a lot of names.
So like pandemic wise, like all of us were at home in our home kitchens for the first time in the pandemic. And being like, dude, I've never made sourdough bread. I've never, I've never made my own ice cream. And like some of us are watching YouTube videos, and I'm texting these people like, "Yo, remember the times we had?"
Yeah. You know what's crazy? You know what the pandemic made me realize, and it was kind of like a blessing and a curse. And I'm not gonna lie, I live in California, and we're still going through this bullshit, man. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like, you know, like I love California, but I also hate it, right? Because you know what I'm saying? It's like a love-hate relationship, man. And but we're not gonna get into that part. But what I'm saying is,
I see your videos where you're at the you know, you and a couple other California chefs, you're at the farmer's market. I'm like, if I could walk somewhere and purchase this, I would. And then I hear y'all talk about life. You know? I mean,
honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like the fruits and vegetables that I get in California are like hands down. I've cooked all over the U.S. This is the best in California. Like, and I'm not saying that to be like conceited. It's just like, you know, it's just so readily available. And if you realize all of the produce that pretty much is shipped to the East Coast is coming from California, like there's no doubt. And it's crazy,
100%.
But what I was going to say is like, man, what I learned in the pandemic is there's so much more to life than just cooking. You know what I'm saying? So I spent a better part of my years just strapped to a stove, man, really just grinding it out. And it's crazy because like after the COVID hit, it was crazy how much more time I had. And I'm just like, you know what, this is like, and it's funny because I actually went backwards. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I've never made this type, or like I've never made this.
Same.
Instead of like
years in a restaurant, and I was like, yo, how come I don't know how to make, like, I don't even know. How come I've never made ice cream?
Yeah. Things like that. So you'll notice like some of my content, like it's funny because like I go backwards, right? And so I put the Michelin bullshit aside. I'm like, you know, I want to make biscuits and gravy, like the best it can ever be. I want to make this. I need to focus on my bread, you know, like, same thing like you were saying with sourdough. I was actually linked up with Sourdough Duffy Matthew. He's amazing. If you don't know him, you really have to introduce yourself. Yeah, I'll have to introduce you. But like, dude, he is the CEO of Sourdough, man. It's crazy. But it's really funny you said that because like I think 100% like when the pandemic hit, like I think all of us chefs realized, like, why the fuck are we working so much? Like, for nothing.
Yeah, man. Shit.
For nothing. And it's like, you know, it never really hit me because, like, as a chef, you put this badge of honor on. Like, yeah, I worked 90 hours this week. And I'm not gonna lie, my wife called me out on it one time. I remember I was in Las Vegas and I was working like 95 hours a week, 6 days a week. And I remember she's like, I just don't understand how come you have to be at work for 16 hours out of the day. She's like, I just don't understand. It just doesn't make sense to me. And she's like, how come you have to go in on your day off? And I'm like, cause I need to be there. I'm the chef de cuisine. I need to be there. And then she's like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, it's either you're understaffed or you're not managing your time properly. And I'm like,
yeah,
that hurt a little bit.
I was like, God damn. And so then, you know what? It's funny because I'll never forget that day. And it's funny because, yeah, fast forward here, I'm just like now it's like, it's crazy because I kind of got lucky, man. But I will say it's hard with COVID and all the governing rules and like, you know, it's ridiculous, man. But
we're not even back in lockdown over here. So we're fully open, but it's freezing cold and you can eat outside if you want.
Yeah. So like, well, it's kind of weird over here, man. You have to have a mask when you go in anywhere, obviously. And like the thing is like, it's just really awkward for, I don't know how to say it, man, without like offending anybody. I just think people should be able to do what they want and not be restricted by the government. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like there's so many businesses, so many good restaurants that had to shut doors because they just can't survive. And it's just like, it's horrible. It's no fault of their own. It's just because, you know, like it's just ridiculous. But Brendan, I wanted to ask, so you're a chef in the kitchen, right? You were a chef?
I've run my own line. I've had my own menu, all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
that's cool, man.
Long out of the business personally.
Yeah. So I always like to ask, what made you want to take the leap out of the business?
Everything.
Start.
all the above, right?
I start, but I couldn't tell you this. Man, I don't even know.
Dude, you know what? It's so funny you say that, man, because like I totally get that. So let me and I'm sure Casey will want to hop in on this. The pandemic kind of opened my eyes to how unsustainable the chef life is.
Okay.
Like, so here's the thing, man. Like, I don't know. For me, I'll just be honest. I stopped running restaurants for other chefs. I stopped.
Okay.
It. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this shit anymore. It's ridiculous.
That's a key element that I just want to, like, if I could start somewhere, I would start there. I would say, why am I giving myself medical problems for a business I don't own? That's definitely one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always advise young chefs. I'm like, hey, what type of chef do you want to be? This is very important, because here's a good example, and I'm just going to use myself. It would be very difficult for me, to go back to run a restaurant for somebody else. But in the same sentence, I'm going to say I've ran enough numbers, especially here in California, and I've built 2 restaurants for somebody else to know that the profit margins are super slim, right? So the reality is if you're going to be a chef partner, or if you're going to be a chef of a restaurant, you need to have somebody that doesn't really care about money, and they have at least 5 to 10 million to dump into this project. I don't care what anybody says. They can tell me whatever they want. I've already lived it. I've done it. Another good example is I've worked for Wolfgang Puck. I've worked for Daniel Boulud. I've worked for Charlie Palmer. All these chefs, they don't have any chefs underneath them that they have helped to fund their restaurant or their venture. Yeah. And I really, really do have a problem with that. I really do. Like TK did it for, did it for Corey Lee, right? I think the thing is like, for me, it was crazy, because it's like, I remember specifically saying, like, being held accountable for a profit and loss statement, right? So a good example, restaurant makes 14 mil, right? And you're like, damn, we made profit this year. Okay, this is how much profit we got. This is how much blah, blah, blah. And like, you're being held accountable for this labor, the whole P&L, right? But then you realize, man, I only make this much. This is fucking stupid, right? And here's a good example. I got offered a position at Bellagio, and this restaurant does 18 million annually, right? Oof. 3.5 million in profit, my guy. 3.5 million in profit. And here's the thing. I asked for a salary of 150K, right? Or 140K, whatever. I'm just throwing a number out there. And the thing is I think that is so worth it, right? At that time, I didn't have the title of executive chef, but I also knew an entertainment lawyer who was like, hey, listen, unless you really want to do this, you're getting fucking screwed. And he's like, let me tell you why. And so he broke it down for me. He's like, listen, I know you're young and you're hungry and you're passionate, but he's like, it's not worth it. You are going to be strapped in this restaurant. You're going to be doing you're better off staying where you're at. And he's like, that's just my point of view. And he's like, any other industry, you should get paid at least 500K, 600K, 750K if you are the leader in command. And basically, the offer on the table was 105 plus bonus, and I wanted to take the position. But then, you know what? I realized that no, he's right. I'm getting screwed. And so this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And I'm just like, I don't think I'll ever go back to running a restaurant for somebody else. I think if I were, and I just don't like, I'm not as hungry as I was when I was a young chef to have my own restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember like fighting my whole life to get to a sous chef position, fighting my whole life to get to a executive sous position, fighting my whole life to get into an executive chef position. And then once I got there, I'm just like, dude, I don't want this anymore. Like, I'm not cooking anymore. I love to be a chef, but I know you can feel what I'm saying.
Yeah. How did you get, part two of your question was how you got into content creating. So what was your story there?
Oh, that's easy. So I've always had a niche for like, keep creating content. Like, and I'll be honest, I'm just going to tell myself, I started a YouTube channel back in 2011 and I never posted. I never did anything. I just instead of focusing on myself and what I wanted to do, I just never did anything. Right. And I remember when it was cool to take videos and like, short videos, like 2015 was when it became acceptable to like shoot video on the line and not get fucking absolutely demolished. Right, Casey? Hey, and so I remember I started up my YouTube channel again, and I got shut down from my boss at work for working with Wolfgang Puck. Yes, shut down. Ooh. Yeah, and it was horrible. It was horrible.
With 65,000 followers, you mean?
No, yeah, not Wolfgang himself, Wolfgang himself, but his one of his top guys. Yeah, one of his his culinary director, right, was like pretty much came at me like, you're a leader in this company, you shouldn't be doing a YouTube channel. But like now, if I could go back, I didn't know then, but if I could go back, I would have literally fucking ate his heart out, right? Like I would have fucking crushed his soul, because at the end of the day, and this is for all my chefs out here, there is the deal on the line. You get paid, whether you're salary, hourly, I don't care. You get paid for 40 hours a week. You know, you should be flexible within 8 to 9 hours of that 40 hours, right? To be able to flex with your schedule, meetings or covering shifts or whatever. But after that, that's fucking it, man. 70, 80, 90 hours a week is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I am a slave to that as well, because that's how we grew up in this industry. We're like, oh yeah, I worked 90 hours this week. I worked 18 hours yesterday. And then I used to like expect that same policy out of my sous chefs, and you know, line cooks were off the hook because they work hourly, right? We don't want to get overtime, so we cover their shift. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But so then literally about a year and a half ago, I decided to go all in on TikTok, right? If it wasn't for Gary Vee, I don't think I would have listened to him. But in all honesty, I'm still figuring out as a content creator. I do have to be honest. I just went all in, and I promised myself I was going to post every single fucking day for like, I think it was like 60 days or something like that. But anyway, I got fed up around like day 40. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let me just post a video today. I didn't have any content like in the bag. And I'm at work. I go in the bathroom and I duet a steak video, right, in my Chef Whites. And I'm like, you know what, let me just do a duet. This, you know, they have this feature. Let me just do this duet. So I did like the chef authorized duet, and the video goes viral. First video. Like, and I was so pissed and happy at the same time, because it was a selfie video that took me 30 seconds to record. It was grainy. The light was yellow. It was a shit video that actually popped off. And that was how Chef Authorized started. But I have to be honest, I did that for a while. I did that for a couple months. But the problem is people wanted me to be like Ramsay, and they want me to like crush people's soul. And I have to be honest, I'm just not like that. I'm just not like that. Like I will like correct somebody, but in the most positive way, because the thing is like, and I don't know if you know Gordon Ramsay's history, but I'll end this. I'll end with this, so it doesn't feel like I'm talking too much. But I know Gordon Ramsay as the person, you know, the chef that has 3 Michelin stars, has multiple Michelin stars, has worked with Marco Pierre White. You know, he's a force in the industry. Everybody else in his legacy, unfortunately, is crushing people's soul on TV. And that's not what type of person he is, man. You know what I'm saying? I met him once. He did get wild in the kitchen, but like his legacy is so much more than what is on the outside and what people see. And
even Anthony Bourdain was like, it was like Gordon Ramsay had this great TV show in the UK that was actually like educating people. And when he brought it to the US, he was just like, I'm a clown. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's become, unfortunately he has become. Have you ever seen like a teenager on TikTok who like clearly is like trying to learn to cook in their parents' kitchen, and they act like Gordon Ramsay and not like the 300 people we would recommend them? Yeah.
Or people making dishes for him to clown. And I think that's what we got away from. And I try to tell people, like, listen, you can do whatever you want, but like, let's chill out with the stunt food. If you want to be a chef, if you want to become a chef, like, let's chill out with the stunt food, right? No chef on this earth is going to take 17 pieces of American cheese and bread them and then deep fry them and serve it with marinara sauce. Like, it's just, people love this shit on the internet, and it's like, I stray away. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did make some like fried macaroni and cheese bites that were tossed in it, like that were garnished with hot Cheetos, you know, just for shits and giggles, and actually they were delicious. But I think that's really important. Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, I don't want to be associated with him. I don't want to have that legacy. So I barely I barely do the duets anymore. But I'm gonna pick it back up, because I think it's important some people don't like to hear constructive criticism, but ultimately, when I was a young cook and I worked in a diner, I would ask questions like, hey, is this how I do this? And people would just blow me off. They wouldn't pay attention. And then it wasn't until I worked in a Michelin star restaurant where, man, if you didn't do something right, bro, you were getting fucking laid down. Like, and it was horrible. It was horrible. But I was like, you know what? Thank you for showing me the right way to do it. Like, yes, my feelings are hurt, but
the only real part.
But this is how we do it.
Competition shows, like the realest part to me is that, like us among thieves, we're like, yo, can I see? Yo, I learned the coolest thing the other day, and dude, I'm I'm 39 and I did this for the first time, right? We do that. But when you are in a kitchen, in the system, when you are being picked over, looked over 80 hours a week, I did 85. That's when the chef competition happens. That's when it's like, why are you getting pushed up the line and I'm still, on garbage day? Like, that's the real competition. Yeah. And it's stupid. It's all in service of that P&L that we don't get a piece of.
No, zero. And so it's funny because like I always tell myself like, yeah. But anyway, I don't want to dig back that. But okay, let's hold on because I know you have a book. I did a little research on you, but you've had a lot of things that have happened in your life. Like working with Lady Gaga. A lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my life sounds made up. I get it. I do.
No, but you know what? I think
my sounds made up.
No, honestly,
Can I just say this first before I will talk about this whole thing that I have to share? This is my book. This was a book I wrote in almost 10 years ago. It came out in 2013.
Wow.
And it was absolutely slept on, looked over, everything. We're going into a new printing right now because of TikTok, because I tell stories and I make food on TikTok, and it's finding a whole new audience. It has a whole new publisher. It came out in HarperCollins in 2013, and now it's at Willem Morrow at Day Street over here.
It's amazing.
So it's amazing.
That's pretty damn cool.
What this platform can do. Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's called Rivington Was Ours. Just look it up on. It's on all platforms. It's everywhere. And I've never done an audiobook. Maybe we'll do that this year.
You should for sure. But I just want to commend you on, like streams, right? Different streams of things that you're interested in, because a lot of, me included, like, I just realized in the last year that, cooking isn't everything for me, right? Like it's not. I actually like to fish. I like to create content. I like to play with my kids. I like to do this. And there was from age 22 to 27, there was nothing else I was doing except for cooking 7 days a week. And that was it. And now don't get me wrong. I'm not mad about it because my skill level is very good. Right. But at the same time, and I'm sure, Casey, you can agree with this, Casey loves to make ramen. He does a fantastic job at it. You know what I'm saying? But like when you're strapped in a corporate restaurant, it's very difficult to work on your side passion, or your side hustle. And so, I love to see it, man. I love to see it that you were a chef, that you worked with Lady Gaga, you were doing a DJ. I think that's awesome. Now you're redoing your book because of TikTok, where people sleep on TikTok.
Exactly.
And I'm laughing because I tell cooks nowadays, I'm like, if you have 10K followers, you can make money. You can. Wow. You can make money on TikTok. And let me tell you something. You need 1,000 to go live and you can receive gifts. Now, don't get me wrong. TikTok takes half and you can't ask for the gift. But at the same time, it's worth it if you're a cook that makes minimum wage and you can supplement on this platform.
You know where it flipped for me? I'll tell you, sir. I'm in TikTok brain is happening. I'm like, can I do this in 15 seconds? No. All right, let's enjoy ourselves. All right. All right. So I got it right here. Michelin Guide 2006. 5 of these flags are my places. All right. These are my people, my 4 bearers. All right. I love these people. On the way into this job interview, I'm walking into the subway. I'm new in New York City. And it's a woman panhandling. And she says to me, if you've seen some of my biggest TikToks, it's about the unhoused and homeless people in New York City. She's like, yo, can you spare any change so I can get some Chinese food? Blah, blah, blah. We end up, I'm just so touched for this moment because I'm walking in there and I was like, sorry, yo, I don't have any money. And she says, you better not, because I've asked you every single day this week and you've said no. And I was like, when you're beating the pavement with your resume, you're like, does anybody understand that my phone can receive calls? Does anybody know that I'm here in New York City and no one has noticed so far?
Yeah.
So long story long, she wishes me good luck, and I make her a deal. I say, like, yo, if I get this job, I'm taking you out for Chinese food the first night, that I get a paycheck. I go in and I have this big smile on my face in my new job, and they're like, yo, you're hired. Do you want to work today? I'm like, let's go. We're crushing it.
Nice.
We're going. Go home, paycheck, sitting on the curb with this woman who was panhandling on Monday. And I'm like, we are getting Chinese food tonight. You and me, let's go. She takes me to this disgusting place with bulletproof glass in the front of the cash register in the neighborhood. And they're like, Jackie, who's your new friend here? And she's like, this is my friend, Brendan. He's my new friend. He's new around here. Everybody say hi. Having a great time. When she was able to get off the streets in 2012, there was a new program, supportive housing. You could get like this, basically a hotel room kind of apartment, hot plate stove, your own bathroom and shower. The bed is drilled into the floor. It's permanent, but it's supportive. Nice. And her caseworker is gonna have an office downstairs, brand new building, doorman, everything. She was like, I don't want to move in yet because I'd honestly rather sleep on the streets than be in an empty apartment and sleep on this plastic mattress. I don't have sheets. I don't have anything. And I was like, okay, We'll figure it out. And it was just more than I could do financially at the time.
Yeah.
And it was so hard to like say no to someone when you've seen them go literally from sleeping on a milk crate, 3 milk crates in a row, sleeping on 3 milk crates to now she has her own apartment. So I had friends who were in film and they were funding their own projects on like a proto Kickstarter at the time. And I was like, I want to make a film of taking her off the streets. Like I want to fund something, crowdfunding like y'all can. So how do I do it? And someone set me up this platform. I think it was called Indiegogo. And so I make this whole campaign, doing this whole thing, and I've set it up and I've written her story out. I've done all the things that are to the limits of my ability as a creator. Like I've taken a picture, I've written the story, all this stuff, and it took a long time. And the last step is they said, okay, now upload a video or a link to a YouTube before it can go live. And I was like, I'm not that guy. Like I'm not an actual filmmaker. I'm not here showing you the trailer for the movie I'd make if you would fund it for me. I'm saying like, yo, this is a human being on planet Earth. Like, can't we just go with it? So I Facebook messaged Casey Neistat, the YouTuber, who had done a lot of. Casey had an office at 368 Broadway, which is where the whole New York film community, all the guys who were telling me how to do this project, where they all work. That's their office, that's their artist studio, etc. A lot of them started working for an artist, a conceptual artist named Tom Scott, who is, if you've seen Casey Neistat's like Sharpie drawn, handmade, everything, it all comes from Tom Scott, a very famous artist who's just one generation above us. Just had a show at the Brooklyn Museum. So I was like, yo, Casey, I have to upload a video and I'm not that guy, man. Can you help me out? And he literally just sent me the nicest email. And he's like, you're going to go out and you're going to buy this camera. You're going to return, if it's too much for you to do it, you're going to put it on a credit card and you're going to return it when you're done. Okay. You're going to get a Canon S100, no microphone, no anything. There's no screen. You point it where you think it's going to go. Walking me through it. Loved it. Made the fundraising video. Can you please help me? This is my friend Jackie. She wished me good luck on my first day at work when I got laid off during the recession, and I told her I couldn't help her anymore. She was at my front door hour and a half later with a sack of groceries, and she just said, you eat this food, you go to bed, tomorrow you get up, you're going to look for work, you're going to be fine. Love her to death. I do.
Wow.
Published this video telling that story. Immediately goes viral that day. I'm standing there. And I have a donation coming in from Iceland, South Africa, India. I go from having not enough in my bank account to take out money at the ATM to I've got a budget of $6,000 to repay that woman who was so kind to me on my first day of work.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And I kept the camera. I started making stuff. That was 2012. I tried YouTube for a while. I did. And Casey Neistat is just such a feature that, like, if I'm clean shaven, people are like, dude, you look just like Casey Neistat. And I'm like, no joke, because I have his camera. I have his tripod. I've got, I don't know how to do this stuff, and I do everything he tells me to, finally start making content on my own. Absolutely slept on it. Probably, I'm not going to say gave up, but just stopped uploading somewhere 2016, 17, 18. TikTok comes out under the app Musical.ly. I park my regular Instagram handle, and nothing happens there. I'm still in the mode of like, I don't get this. What? I'm 30 years old. Why would I be lip syncing videos? Don't get it.
Dude, same.
I parked Pizzas, the name I did at the time, because I was out of the kitchen probably for the first time in a long time. And somewhere in there, I toured with Lady Gaga. I did a lot of other stuff. I was in music videos, and it was great. Someone told me like, oh, TikTok's all about your niche. And I was like, you know what? Through all my life, the things I've done, when was I the happiest? Like, I was nothing but stressed out being in a kitchen. And when I was younger, and I was like, yo, when I was a kid, my parents worked nights. No one was going to come make dinner for Brendan. And I got a job at a pizza place, just a strip mall pizza place in the suburbs. And I sincerely don't know this man's name. We called him Boss. Boss, you got this? Boss, you want this? His wife we called Boss's wife. And Boss's wife was there. And the only thing was, when it slowed down, if I started doing side work, he would point to this back table. And he would go, and his wife would come in, and she would say, no. You're not here. We can work. But you sit there. You do your homework. You go to school. You become doctor or lawyer, okay? But he's the man who taught me pounding out pizzas, we were making hand-tossed pizzas and stuff. And I was so happy there to go home, to know that you are the latchkey kid going home to an empty home at night in the suburbs. It's dark and it's cold. And you're going to throw, whatever. I don't even know it's not even Trader Joe's. You're going to throw Stop and Shop brand cold pasta sauce on some noodles, or you're going to go to work and have this this chosen family of people there. And so I started making pizzas on TikTok, parked it, didn't get it for the longest time, parked it, and probably didn't upload for over a year. And maybe like 6 months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm enjoying this. What did I enjoy most in life? I had a blast making pizza after school. And that video I made about Jackie, there was something in there that was better than what I was doing. There was something in there where I was like, this is not work to me anymore. This is I'm building something for myself. I don't know what it is yet, but let's go find that rather than make money for other people. You know?
Amen, dude. Amen to that. We all don't know. We might act like we know what we want to do, but we don't. We just have to. I'm telling you, man. I find so, and I don't know about you, Casey, but I find so much joy into trying a bunch of different things. A bunch of things. What about you, Casey?
I find joy in trolling other people's comments. That's my main source of joy on the internet. Because, okay, I mentioned this to you. So my former Sue, Sean, I was explaining to me, because he notices like, Case, I think you're getting a little rowdy on your comments. I'm like, Sean, but I'm treating it like as if it were our kitchen. Yeah. So we had this thing in our kitchen where we put little like coins, whoever got the best joke out of the day. So it'd be like, out of the whole week, whoever wins that week, they get to take the jar. So it could be like $20-$30 or whatever. I'm treating it like that. And he's like, yeah, but Case, that's the internet.
Yeah. You know what,
I'm like, I know, so it's even more people.
So pizzas, we're yin and yang. Do you mind if I call you by your handle? I like calling people by their handle.
Go for it.
Is that okay? Okay. So we're like yin and yang when it comes to TikTok. He responds to every single freaking hate comment. But the thing is honestly, he's smart because he picks the ones that are indisputable, that where I know he's right as well. Like, and it's unfortunate because some of these young kids, they learn how to cut something or chop something. All of a sudden they're a chef now. You know what I mean? Like they and it's funny because like, I'm not gonna lie, Casey, you eat them alive, man. Like, but I don't respond.
A little bit.
I literally skip right over it. I don't even give the benefit of the doubt of hate comments because I get quite a few. But for me, it's funny because like I just see how Casey just he responds to every single one. It's hilarious.
I have a question for the other two creators here. If you could choose going viral or just having the same views every single day, which would you choose?
Ooh. No, same views every day. No, I hate viral
same
videos.
views every day.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. Like there was a part of my life, and there still is, where I know, like honestly, I will plan out the videos to drive traffic. And sorry, you can hear my kids in the background.
It's okay. I got to take a walk, so keep going.
Yeah, go ahead. So, I will plan out videos that I know will pop off and build some traffic. But honestly, dude, I stay away from viral videos. And here's the thing. I know it's counterintuitive, but the thing is when you get a viral video, you end up getting people in your community that just don't belong, right? They're not there to support you. They're not there to be, to follow your journey. And and look at when you post a video. And unfortunately, it is what it is. But here's the thing: you can go super viral with some dumb shit. It's like some dumb shit. And and I have removed. I had an omelet video that went super crazy viral, but it was kind of negative. And I ended up taking it down because it was just like, dude, it was just bringing on too many nasty people, man. I'm just like, fuck it, boom, pulled it. There was 2 of them back to back. Like one was at like 10 mil, like it was crazy. And I pulled it, man. It's just not worth it. And
but all the comments, Brandon, that you could have been like, boom, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah,
I had to tone it down ever so slightly.
But like, if you're up and coming, and you're like, you know, if you're a creator that's up and coming, and you're not 100% confident in your video skills, then it's good to have if you have a couple videos pop off, then what I recommend for anybody who's out there, like if you have under 1,000 followers or under 10,000 followers, then you need to piggyback off of that. Like, right, Casey, right? Don't you agree? Like Casey had a viral video, and I'm like, yo, reply to every comment with the video. Every comment. He just never stopped. He just never stopped.
I just didn't stop doing it.
My guy literally freaking.
I just didn't stop doing it.
Yeah, but he likes it. Like, dude, you see it like when he pulls up a negative comment, and you see him smile like this, and he's like, "Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it." But I just really focus on. I'm really focusing on building the Chef Authorized brand. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon. But I really find joy. What I find joy in content creation is really helping out the younger generation of chef. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's my time to like pass on my knowledge and expertise in the actual field of culinary arts, man. It's like I don't want people to have to do what I did, and I feel like that is my place in the world, is helping this younger generation of chefs. You know.
Mm-hmm. I actually don't know this a ton. Casey and I've done a live together where I got to be like, yeah, where are you working? Where have you worked? All this stuff. Can you, Chef Authorized, can you give us your
So my work is right now it's super confidential, but I work for a tech company as a chef, as executive chef for here in Silicon Valley. Okay. And I'm not gonna lie,
but when you were a kid,
where did I work?
You're clearly a bright kid and everything. At some point you were like, I've got a passion for this, and I figured it out.
Okay. So basically, you're talking about when I started cooking.
Yeah.
This is easy.
I've seen you do a live about this before, but yeah, I'd love to hear.
Yeah. So basically, when I was when I was young, I was like 13, 14. I used to visit my father on the weekends, and he was a bartender / manager. And I was so intrigued. You know, when you're young, you just sit in the restaurant, but I was so intrigued by the cooks, like the fire, them screaming at each other. I was like, damn, that looks like crazy, you know? Mm-hmm. And I started as a busboy, then was washing dishes, and then one time one of the prep cooks didn't show up, and he was working the fryer station that night. And I remember I jumped right in. I'm like, hey, I can do this. Like, when you're a lead cook, you don't want to work the fryer. Like, let's face it. And I was so happy to do it, man. I was so happy to do it. And then I remember I just got hooked, man. I just got hooked. And I'm like, I remember telling my family and my father, like, hey, I want to be a chef. And they like kind of laughed. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, this is just a summer job. Like, chill out. And then it was really serious when I was 16. I remember saying, like, I missed homecoming so I could work the line on a Saturday night. I missed homecoming to pick up a shift. And the general manager of the restaurant was like, what are you doing? This is your homecoming. You already have your suit. I'm like, yeah, but fuck that. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And it was crazy, but it ended up working out. It was the only thing I will say is I worked at a diner. This was a diner. It was called Dax Grill. It was in Northern Virginia. And unfortunately, I learned a lot of bad things there, like shortcuts and short order cooking.
Shortcuts.
Then the worst part about it is I went to Macaroni Grill after that, right? So another shitstorm of learning. And then, listen, bro, fucking shitstorm. And then finally, I landed in a steakhouse, which the two chefs that ran it, Willie and Ray, listen, if you're out there, I love you. I really do. They both graduated CIA, and they were real chefs. They made all the 5 mother sauces. They know how to season. They know how to butcher. They know how to do all the basics of becoming a chef. And they really taught me how to cook properly. And I absorbed so much from 17 to 18. Then I realized I needed to go to culinary school. And even though back in the day, it was very important to have a culinary degree. Now I would say it's irrelevant. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, you don't need it.
And I'm not going to get into it with fighting with anybody. I'm not saying don't go to school, but I'm just saying there's zero ROI. The return on investment is non-existent.
Especially since your second choice is go to work and get paid.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
take the worst job at a restaurant.
You don't need, and especially right now, I would tell everybody, don't dare waste your money at culinary school. You can walk into any restaurant right now and get a line cooking job. They're looking for warm bodies. If you have a heartbeat, dude. I have never in my whole life have seen a sign-on bonus for a fucking cook.
Okay, yeah, man.
Get the fuck out of here.
So much right now.
Bro, I swear to God, you want to be a cook in San Francisco right now? No problem, bro. They got people paying for Ubers for your transportation. The companies are bending because they need that workforce. But anyway, so I ended up, to make a long story short, I ended up going to the Florida Culinary Institute. I already knew how to cook when I went in there. I just needed to get the paper. And and it was crazy because I just blew through culinary school like, I should have dropped out when I had the chance. I dropped out, but then I went back because I was already going to pay for it. And so I actually went for the dual associates for culinary and also baking and pastry. So
there you go.
Flex.
And
Flex,
I am not,
bro.
It's rare to be a 5-tool player, and I don't know why people skip on this. That's why I wanted to make sure I shouted out all 5 of my influences coming up, because I had a chef who was putting himself through the Master Court of Sommeliers because he was like, I gotta know this stuff.
Yeah.
It's stupid that I don't. So that's I wish there was more push for that. Like not.
So it's funny because the best decision I ever made was being well-rounded, especially in culinary and baking and pastry, because when I actually worked at Alinea, I was working a savory station, and the chocolate guy didn't show up, and I don't blame him because there was so much work. It was just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, there was no way he could complete this. Anyway, the chef was like, hey, it's either we all chip in or somebody sacrifices on their station to do the dessert station. He's like, so what's it going to be? Then everybody else was little bitches, right? They were just like,
and you was like, I'll do it.
I shot my hand up because I knew working in pastry, like pastries don't start in a fine dining restaurant until 7:30. So I had 2.5 hours to get this station up, locked and loaded. And I remember he's like, and then I remember the chef looked at me, he's like, you know how to temper chocolate? He's like, are you sure, chef? And I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to help you and you're fucking cursing me out right now. Like, yo. And I remember thinking this because he was trying to like belittle me. You know, he's like, you know how to temper chocolate? Are you sure? I was like, yeah, honestly, chef, I do. And I would never put it in the sous vide bag. And he's like, well, that's how we do it. So anyway, at Alinea, we put double sous vide bag, and that's how we melted the chocolate. And I thought it was the dumbest shit ever, but it was genius.
That is dumb.
It is the dumbest shit ever because once one drop of water gets into that chocolate,
gets in there.
That's it.
Out.
Dog, that's
Seize.
it. It's done. It's done. And but anyway, I followed the rules, and then it was funny because when I started working the station, then I started tempering chocolate like a normal pastry chef, and I got called out for it. He's like, "Why isn't it in the sous vide bag?" And I'm like, "Because chef, that is dumb. It doesn't make any sense." And then we go toe to toe, and it was anyway going down the rabbit hole. But I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made, because when I became a sous chef and a chef, and like the pastry station would go down, or if there were some issues with anything, I knew how to troubleshoot, and this made me very valuable. In my current role, I was tasked right now with creating a micro bakery, and boom, easy,
right
easy
away
for me.
You knew it,
right? Right. And it's crazy because like, here's another thing, and this video is going to come out soon, but I see all this panettone, right? All this panettone coming out. Mm-hmm. Never made it before. So I went down the rabbit hole, and dude, it's the hardest bread to make. But because I have that basic knowledge of what to look for, and I was able to execute it. And it was really, really awesome. But I'm not going to lie. The CEO of Sourdough literally held my hand through the process.
Everybody should go follow Duffy though. He's a fucking G. Like, he really is.
He is.
I wish I found him sooner.
Yeah.
Because like I've made panettone before, and it's
no, he's got it locked in. He's been doing it for the last 3 years, and he has the technique down. Sourdough Duffy, the CEO, Matthew Duffy. He is I'll shout him out all day, all long. When I was doing my sourdough projects, I came across him, and he's guided me in the right direction. He has an amazing background. I'm talking about like Michelin star background, but kind of in the same boat that all of us other chefs are. It's like, it's crazy because I highly recommend, if you're a chef out there, right, compartmentalize your life and audit your time. Right. So if you listen, you deserve to have 2 days off. The company,
100%.
The company pays you for a 40-hour work week. That is what is on the paper. That is what is on the paper. If you're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, you need to reevaluate that job. Seriously. And I hate to say it because I was the chef that made you grind, and I really take that back because I know I probably ruined some people's life, and I feel horrible. Like especially working in especially some of my sous chefs. Like, it's crazy, man. But nowadays you can't get away with that shit, man. You cannot get away with that shit. Even at my current job.
Quick question.
Go ahead, Casey. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, Brendan, how do you feel about staging? Because I mentioned it to you before. Right? Since you work in a city, since you live in a city, in my heyday, when I say heyday, like 24, 25, this is 06, 07, 08, I was staging in Michelin star restaurants because corporate is boring. Let's just get I get a crazy bag, but it's boring. I'm just managing numbers. I'm barely cooking. I'm literally in charge of like 4 stores, and I'm just like, okay, what do I get to cook? They're like, well, we gotta. But anyway, needless to say, I was staging, and I found so much joy just going to another restaurant and be just fucking cooking shit. Have you done any kind of staging or any favorite restaurants that you had? I know late. You have some stars on you, but like,
yeah, I'm late to the stage game. But you know what's so I'm writing a new book called American Kitchen about cooking. And I was encouraged by a chef I'd worked for a long time ago who just said, like, you know how a kitchen is organized. Why don't you think of how to cook is like how to work each station. So work your way through that. So for the whole pandemic, I've been finding places that are where you would not normally do a stage, and doing them and loving them and having a blast doing them. You'll see me make a slider at a diner in Jersey City called White Manna Diner, which is very emotionally connected to my story in a great way. So I just went in there and I called the owner. I hand wrote him a note. He pinned it to a bulletin board and ignored it for 2 months. And then one day I got a call and he says, hey, I saw this number and I keep forgetting to call, but what did you want to do? And I was like, I want to learn how to make a burger. I want to come to hang out with you. I want you to show me around. Make a burger. He's like, why would you care about this diner in New Jersey? And I was like, dude, this diner is an American icon, and I want to cook in an icon right now.
That's amazing. That's great, dude. That's amazing.
The chef, so my middle of my 5-tool player, Charles Masson. So this diner was a grill that was used at the 1939 World's Fair in Queens. And it was just, like you go to Disney World and there's a little kiosk for you to get something to eat. It was that, And my Charles, father figure in my life, and his kids are my age, and he didn't want to push them into the culinary world. So I absolutely benefited from being like, I care. Like, tell me everything you know. So his dad in 1939 came over to be a chef, a waiter actually, at the World's Fair in Queens. At the time, the Nazis on the rise. This sounds like a movie, I know. The Nazis are on the rise, and the French can't start building up their military because it'll like violate the Treaty of Versailles. So they come to the U.S. And so while the Nazis are on the rise and they're boxing up all the art in the museums, they are bricking over their wine cellars to keep it from the Nazis when they invade. They know it's going to happen. And they send all of their best chefs, cooks, busboys, everybody to the 1939 World's Fair in Queens. And their mission is to get the Americans on their side. They are like, there, it is dining diplomacy level 1000 right there. So this Charles's father was there, and the chef of the fish cook at the operation is soon to be the world's first TV chef, Pierre Franny, my man, my guy, who is about to become the chef of he's about to become basically Jacques Pepin's first chef in the U.S. when they're at Pavillon.
Oh wow,
the restaurant.
Wow.
And of the people who stayed during World War II, they stayed before Pearl Harbor. They opened a restaurant because that's the only thing they knew how to do. But what they really did was they kept cooking alive, while every other 18 to 24-year-old man in France was just cannon fodder and being in Nazi work camps and sent to the front lines. These guys were doing what they do, and they came to the United States, men and women, and they opened a restaurant together. And then when World War II breaks out, the General MacArthur offers all of them the position. They're like, you can sign up for the U.S. Army, but you're going to be my private chef, and you're going to go to the Pacific. And they're like, we didn't come here to go cook dinner for some prima donna American general. Okay, we're here to fight for our country. No, and they all signed up. They didn't have to be drafted, but they all signed up to run the mission that was going to go liberate Paris. So Pierre Freny, cook, brilliant guy, TV presenter, literally goes to the liberation of Paris, looks at a map, and the map, by the way, I have chills at this moment. The map is the Michelin Guide to France. The Michelin Guide at that time created the best maps in the world, so that the U.S. Army has the Michelin Guide in their pockets going like, okay, so we're in Versailles, we're going to go over the hill. And he looks at this map and he realizes that his mother is in the next town over. And he just says to his commander, he's like, I need a Jeep, I need 2 guys, and we're going to go. I'm liberating my own hometown today. Do you understand? And they're like, no, that is not the mission. You're going to get court-martialed if you do this. And he's like, I'm taking the Jeep. You're either giving me the Jeep or I'm taking it. So he hasn't seen his family since before the war. And he was, there's no, he couldn't call them. So he comes into town and his mother runs into the street. She has a handmade, maybe I can get the graphic. She has a handmade American flag for her liberators that she comes in. She runs into the street to give it to her liberators. And she doesn't realize that the handsome guy in the U.S. Army uniform is her own son.
Wow.
So that's
deep, dude.
Those are my
full
people.
Circle.
So look, I'm gonna say something a little controversial, but I think this is definitely worth a conversation. And because we kind of grew up, we're all in the same age range. What do you think about the Michelin Guide in 2021 and 2022? Does it hold as much weight as it did 10 years ago when we were chefs?
Let me give you 3 things. I definitely got a New York Times starred review, was proud of it, very proud of it, because it was given directly to my team and passed over maybe a higher level, the dining room team, the finer diner, the prefix menu. Who cares what the New York Times says? We don't live in a world where my last menu that I controlled was number 1 on TripAdvisor, where it was. And I was like, that's like my star now. That's it. Like, people who spent their money care about this place and loved it and had a great time. And I'm like, that's my guide now. There is no Michelin Guide to who does it have? I don't think there's one there's not one in LA anymore, is there? I think they started one. And it didn't.
I think they keep on dipping back and going back. They, like, the Michelin Guide is there. They got stars last year, but let's be honest. Like, I'm not going to lie. The pandemic kind of changed my perception on the Michelin Guide, right? There's so many restaurants. Okay, I'm just going to say it, and I'm not going to be disrespectful with Michelin, because I truly believe there was a point in my career where all I cared about was Michelin stars, especially 3 Michelin stars, right? And
imagine explaining to someone else at the top of their game, like, so listen, I'm killing it, but this tire company, they disagreed with
it's funny. Dude. But I'm going to be honest. I think I'm going to pay devil's avocado here, because I think the Michelin Guide is great for the restaurant industry. And I think especially from 2003, 2004, all the way to 2011, 2012, right? It meant something. It meant, like, it was everything, right? Like, it was everything. But then I have to admit, like, after pretty much 2014 and up to 2018, I remember thinking in my head, like, honestly, it's not, life is not fair, but this is not fair. I remember when the Michelin Guide awarded a chicken cart like one he served one item, chicken cart, not even a chef. He was on the street and they gave him a Michelin star. And right there, I'm no disrespect. I'm sure the chicken's delicious. It was like this was in Singapore. No disrespect, like at all. But the thing is do you know how many chefs have bled to get one Michelin star? And then I'm sure the chicken's good. But like this kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, and it rubbed the industry the wrong way. But then I realized like they were just giving out Michelin stars like crazy, for a certain period of time. And I know that last year a lot of mistakes happened with the Michelin Guide and giving out stars. And just the one that I know for real, they gave Next in Chicago a 3 Michelin star plaque, and they only had 1 Michelin star. But like I think last year is not a good showing for restaurants. They're literally trying to stay afloat, right?
Yeah.
Like literally. So like a lot of people were shocked when the Michelin Guide came out. And here in California, I am so happy for all the restaurants that got a little bump, that bumped up to 2 Michelin stars. That's very important. But I have to be honest, half of them were closed for the whole fucking year. Okay. Like they were closed. They were doing to-go food. Nobody was dining in. And it's just like, I think nowadays I take the biggest thing that with the Michelin Guide that kind of frustrates me a little bit is that they only go to certain cities, right? So you have to be in a metropolitan city if you want to get a Michelin star. And I think it's like, here's a good example. Demi in Minneapolis, Chef Gavin Kaysen. He's one of the best chefs in America. Okay, I don't care what anybody says, but he will never have a Michelin star. The fact that Michelin star is never going to go to Minnesota is real. And guess what? I think that's kind of unfair. I think, just picking the metropolitan cities, I didn't realize it until older. And this is no hate because I think, I think the Michelin Guide is important, but I feel like it doesn't hold as much weight as it did about 10 years ago. What do you guys feel about that?
100% agree.
Do you disagree?
Agree.
No, I don't. And now, the real the real issue here is we are TikTok educators. We are teachers. We are these people. So what do we do with this now? All right, like there are no Michelin starred TikTokers. It's not the James Beard Award where they are giving it out for being great at what you do. I personally, and I hope this comes through in my content. If not, I just got to make more. It's okay. I clown on the Michelin star. Like like they gave a star to a restaurant. They gave it to a building and not the people who worked there. So it's not like I have one in my house. Like I worked in an Academy Award and I got Best Picture and we were all in this together kind of thing, So right now I kind of have the feeling of like, I used to not tell people I had one. I used to, it's never been on my resume of mine because you're either living up to it or, we don't want this fussy guy working here. Like, we pay well and he wants the job, but we don't want to put up with your pretension. Like, congratulations, So I found more and more that I have this like sneering attitude towards it. Like, if we're gonna flex for a minute, go ahead. But like, I know to me, couldn't tell you the day we won it. Couldn't tell you where we were, what we did. Won it 3 times in that one restaurant. I have menu items still on there. They're now a 2 Michelin starred restaurant. So like, am I going to pretend that I'm not 2 Michelin starred at this point? I don't care. Yeah. Like, I remember winning the James Beard Award because I had to. It was my girlfriend's graduation night from NYU. And I met her in Chicago. I moved to New York. She was a foodie. So I was like, I'll get a job in a cool restaurant. They called me in and they were like, it's the job of the girl. And I was like, so I was at her graduation and I left to go pick up because everyone wanted to come back and celebrate and order whatever they wanted on the menu and bring like we won for architecture. I had nothing to do with the architecture of that restaurant. So but the architects came in and they wanted to do a big spread when they won, and I was like, y'all built this restaurant 3 years ago and now you're claiming your award for something you did 3 years ago? Maybe. Yes. So it's so funny you say that because I'll end with this. So, and I didn't want to mention it, but when I was working at Saison had 3 Michelin stars, right? And I was there when the transition from Joshua Skeens to Laurent Gras
was happening. And if you don't know who Laurent Gras is, if you're listening, he is the creme de la creme when it comes to chefs. He has won Alain Ducasse the most Michelin stars over in France. He has held 3 Michelin stars consecutively for, I would say, about half of Alain Ducasse's restaurants, right? Like he was the chef. And when Joshua Skeens was at Cezanne, he got 3 Michelin stars, big achievement, booked, amazing. He's one of the best chefs in the United States. And then when Laurent Gras took over, they took a Michelin star away, right? So they bumped down to 2 Michelin stars. And we all know as chefs that, hey, the stars leave when the chef leaves. Mm-hmm. We all know this. Mm-hmm. But for the Michelin Guide to take away the star and give Laurent Gras 2 stars, it really shook a lot of people, and it made us all pissed, because Laurent Gras is the king, dude. He's the king of seafood. He is a very good chef. But it just kind of put things in perspective for me. And this is why I tell people, like, don't shoot for the award. Shoot for the guest satisfaction. Because Daniel Hume even said the same thing. He's like, listen, I love having 3 Michelin stars, but it's a pain in the ass to maintain. He's like, it's a pain in the ass. And now he's switched directions. He's going vegan. He's doing this. And I'm really happy for him, because you know what? You can't just be tied by the Michelin star. Here's another one. Noma, 2 Michelin stars for years. Then all of a sudden this year they get 3 Michelin stars. And it's just like, in a way, it's kind of like, I'm thinking in my head, like, it's too late, man. Noma's already been the best restaurant in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, who cares about that 3rd Michelin star? Even though it's a great achievement for them, I don't know. For me, it was just kind of like funny, Yeah,
like, thinking I gotta say, like, I'm planning a trip to France. I'm looking forward to it. I have hoteliers that I'm tight with at this point, and I can't wait to go. And in France, the Michelin Guide is like, this is the map, this is the roads. This is the reason for you to make a divergent. This is the reason for you to, like, take this turn and not that one. I'm looking forward to that, for real. I don't think they've ever nailed it in the U.S. They just haven't. And they've never even been to Canada.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Well, Toronto. I think they got Michelin stars in Toronto, but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So anyway, hopefully nobody gets offended, but not to say that if I were to open a restaurant, hypothetically, if the Michelin Guide came, I would share the, oh, shoot.
Oh. He'll jump back on, but I'm pretty sure he was just gonna say the Michelin Guide. It kind of depends, right? For if I were to open a restaurant, and I will. I don't think I'm shooting for it, ever, with the stars. Like, I could care less for the stars. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, Brandon got a little too hype on now. He was like, fuck Michelin.
No, I never say F Michelin, because it was such a big part of my life and the chefs that I worked for. But I will say, if I were to open a restaurant right now, and like, that's not what I would be shooting for, but if I got the award, then I'd be grateful, and I would do, that's amazing. But it wouldn't be my whole life story, where some of these chefs, that's all they think about. You know what I mean? But anyway, I know we got to wrap it up, but I'll tell you what, man, Pizzas, it was great to have you on, man.
Thank you.
This was such an invigorating conversation, and I truly believe, like, I am so happy for your success in TikTok. I think this is wonderful. I think, the biggest thing is for all of us, older, I would say older, late 30s, you know what I mean?
We're older. We're older.
Listen, I get clowned on from my chef friends sometimes for, like, hey, I create TikTok sometimes, but like, I think what's really important is creating content without worrying about what somebody else is going to think. And if you think about it, we are all 3 different people. Like, we all have different things that we create content on. And I truly, really believe in, like, other people's success. Like, I am so happy to see, so many people crushing it. Like, there is room for everybody on this app, man. There's 6 billion people. Yeah. Like, you can create content. Like, and I really like your mature content. It really makes me happy. Every time I see your video, I always double like it. It's like, it's amazing. So I'm glad we could have you on the show. This was such a great conversation.
Thank you. And, thank you both.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Like, I was just going to say, if you guys need hate comments done, send it this way.
Get out of here, Casey.
I'm more than happy to.
Dude, it's funny.
All right, for everybody else, though, I'll make sure Brendan's links are down below. Definitely check out his book. I didn't know we were kindred spirits. Brendan, I had no idea that you actually worked with some stuff. So Rising Street was ours. Him and Lady Gaga. He was a DJ back then. I could go down that rabbit hole another day, but make sure check him out. Other than that, though, everybody else, thank you so much. Have a good one. Peace out.